Hey, what's up, everybody? It's rock comedian and huge Kiss fan Don Jameson, and you're listening to the #1 ranked Kiss podcast, the Shout It Out Loud cast. Shout It Out Loud cast. Shout it out loud. With Tom and Zeus.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Shout It Out Loudcast. Don't turn your radio dial. You're in the right place because the album review crew is back with episode number 48. We are calling this one. All right, you sinners. I'm going to give you fair warning because I don't want to hear about it later, but the three of us don't all have the same taste in Van Halen. So let's get this review going. Tommy, Zeus, how are you?
Oh, good morning. I mean, where else would you rather be on a Sunday morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, on my second cup of coffee, looking at these two handsome men? Yeah. This is the place to be. Van Halen, baby. Right, Zeus?
Oh, yeah. Lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah, Tom, it's going to be a rough morning, but I hope David Lee Roth's yelps and screams and whatever he does will wake me up. So we did last time another classic rock band, and that was Aerosmith. That was a Patreon pick. They picked rocks. Mm-hmm. And I think we did the poll, right?
We did, yep. And the poll, as always, 4 songs. And from rocks, we picked Last Child, Sick as a Dog, Back in the Saddle, and Nobody's Fault. And not a big surprise there. Back in the Saddle runs away with 53% of the poll. Last Child comes in at 20, Sick as a Dog at 15, Nobody's Fault at 12. And I guess we'll just get this out of the way now in terms of feedback. Everybody pretty much loves this album. We were saying before we hit record that sometimes when we do an album that is like generally like applauded as a classic, the feedback can be kind of boring because everybody just, bet my favorite Aerosmith album, perfect 10, great classic rock, blah, 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 blah.
All I saw in the comments was, you obviously have not listened to this album for a long time because you will be saying all this shit.
Oh, stop it. But yeah, again, generally speaking, hands down the best Aerosmith record. That's John Schaefer. Focus on Metal Twitter page says, still one of my favorite albums after all these years. Our buddy Nige, best Aerosmith album. Our buddy Jack Broad, 10 out of 10, a masterpiece. Of course, Sonny thinks it's overrated.
Absolutely overrated.
Yeah. So, hold on. We got a comment from our buddy Tony from Restrained, who is also responsible for our amazing intro music. Every once in a while, we remember this. But Tony says, because I remember during the Rocks episode, we were teasing him about his album titles for Restrained. He says, God of War is our 3rd record. Restrained 2 is our 4th record. Why is that confusing? Well, it's and then he puts up pictures of all his album covers, which, Tony, we love you. That doesn't help fix the problem.
But we're still on our 8th drummer.
No, he said we're only on their 3rd drummer and 4th bassist. That's what he said. So anyways, in short, everybody on Twitter loves Aerosmith rocks. So the feedback was across the board, just pretty much high praise for this classic.
On the Book of Faith, Zane Beasley says, I'm with Sonny. Overrated.
There you go.
Good God.
First comment I saw.
There you go.
Paul Heider. Desmond Child would never have allowed that. It's in quotes. It says, Sonny, sum it up why he can't get on board with Aerosmith rock. Sonny, I'm sorry, but this is the sort of comment that cuts both ways. Great bands sold their rock and roll souls. or got them returned in exchange for pop formula hits. Aerosmith, Van Halen, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Kiss, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses. So many great bands started out doing what they were allowed to, one degree or another, even though it meant abandoning with what made them unique and timeless. Once they did that, most of them died with the 80s, only experiencing a resurrection if they had enough classic back catalog.
Ooh, good comment. I like that one.
And they're still selling arenas.
Yep.
Unlike the bands that didn't connect with Desmond Child that are still working at McDonald's.
Or on the Monsters of Rock cruise.
There you go.
They work.
They work. When you think of garbage, think of 80s rock.
The great Brad Rustoven,
also known as Backpack Brad.
Rocks is greater than toys. Well done, Patreon members. Great pick. In my opinion, Aerosmith's best album. So let me get this straight. Sonny Pooney has Night Songs in his top 10 and close to a Desert Island album, but he only got Rocks at 37. Without Rocks, there'd be no Cinderella. Just saying.
And?
Oh, no, and then Sonny's feedback was, what did you say? You said something like, without Mexican food, there'd be no shit. Or something
Without
like
pizza. Without pizza, there'd be no shit. What's that got to do with anything?
I don't know. David Selders, I can review it. Awesome. Aerosmith's best album. End of story. All right, good night. Thanks.
Oh, okay, that's the end of the story. Okay, that's it.
Fair warning. Shit. End of story.
Oh,
good
come
night.
on. Here we go. Here we go.
Brian Robinson writes, Sonny had to Urban Dictionary sweet sassafras. Oh, man.
I had to Urban Dictionary the other day. Fupa. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Why? You just need to look at a picture of Chris Christie.
Or Bill Parcells in the
Bill
80s.
Parcells. Yeah, that's all you need.
You can go look at that yourself.
Yeah,
because somebody wrote all over stuff in the building. I love Fupa. I'm like, oh, good for you.
Those two are the Fupa kings.
Yeah, it's called the Gunt.
Yeah.
Louis Silva, one of the greatest albums on the planet. Wore out the cassette. We're out of the fucking tracks. Most millennials won't even know what the hell that is. Then about to CD top, the bottom. I'm good, Delia. Oh, what the fuck? Speak English, buddy. The fuck? His name happened to be Louis Silva, too. Sorry. I fucking. It's a good album. I like the music. I couldn't read it. Over on Loudcast Stirs, Yanni Aslak Rosanen, after all the Aerosmith bashing among the Kiss tards, I'm really looking forward to listening to this episode. Tyler's my all-time favorite white male voice in rock. My all-time favorite per se being the late, great Tina Turner. Sick as a Dog is a real gem. Also, the post Done with Mirrors, which blows, in my opinion, albums, are pretty darn good hard rock records. 9 Lives being the most underrated of them all. I like 9 Lives.
Yuck. I love it. Yuck.
Justin Steele. I guess there's no accountant for taste. To me, this is a true hard rock classic. I shouldn't be, but I'm shocked anyone sees it differently. I think he's talking about
a certain co-host.
Bring it.
Well, get ready, Van Halen fans, because it ain't going to get any better this episode.
Yeah, bring it.
Craig Gallagher says, enjoy this now, because Sonny's next pick is Corey Feldman.
I'm not allowed to pick Corey. We can't pick Pop here.
Oh.
That's not true. What are you talking about? I picked Prince.
Oh.
Prince is Pop.
Oh, if we could
I
pick
thought he was a rock guy.
Oh, if we could pick Pop.
Go ahead.
My next pick.
Fucking terrible pop albums.
Pick Backstreet Boys live in Bolivia. I don't care.
Nope. There's better than Backstreet Boys.
Oh, God. This could be the last episode of ARC.
Johnny Stubble, better known as Joey Romanek.
Stubble.
Murph keeps trying to convince me he looks like Ray Romano.
Oh, I don't know if that's a compliment. It's kind of an insult.
Murph looks like Ray Romano.
No. Murph looks like Potsy.
Oh, Morty?
We do know somebody that looks like Ray Romano. My brother. He's
Danny?
got the look.
Holy shit.
He's got the Ray Romano look.
What? Oh, God, here we go.
Ray
Romano look. That is not what you would call a handsome man. Oh,
I know there was a Ray Romano look out there.
Oh.
All right. Well, he writes, spoiler alert. Don't read ahead if you haven't heard the show yet. My memory on this album is having to hear it every single morning on the way to high school in my sister's car. She'd always yell out the South Tallahassee part because we live in Florida, albeit a 4-hour drive from Tallahassee. She thought she was so cool. She was, in fact, not cool. And the ride to school was daily torture having to sit through this album. I'm not surprised to hear Joe and Steven say that they were struggling with heroin and cocaine at the time this album was recorded, because like a lot of 70s records, it sounds like heroin and cocaine. And to further complicate my relationship with Sonny Pooney's musical taste, I've sided with him on the Aerosmith is grossly overrated band, and I also agree with this list of meh bands that he mentioned. But I totally disagree with him that his take that the Testament version of Nobody's Fault sucks. Can't wait for the next Patreon pick. Dude, are we talking about Testament on this show now? Is that what we're doing?
No,
we're disagreeing about Testament on this show.
Why are we talking? I don't want to talk about Testament on the show ever.
Philosophical discussion on Testament.
Stop it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Over on our Instagram page, Aussie V24, Swee 316, and Ant Creek 22. Between the three of them, great album. One of those classic albums I wore out when I was young. Definitely my top 10 in my catalog. Fans of the album, I guess.
That's right. Yep.
Over on YouTube, I'm just going to read Stephen Holden's comment, and he writes, okay, does Mr. P actually like music?
That's my favorite That's my favorite question.
Meh.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't even like music.
Yeah, you guys are so right. Like, this album just got a lot of like not real analysis, but more or less, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, because I mean, it just is what it is. It's just straight up rock. And if it's not your thing, then you didn't like it. But there's no like hard hitting analysis. It's just a simple record. So yeah.
Well, over to you guys.
Sonny, you got an email there?
All right, so this email, I don't know how I'm going to pronounce this name. What, Thanos Acrides?
That's our buddy, Thanos Acrides.
Okay, Acrides, whatever. It says, boys, you reignited my love for 70s Aerosmith. Forgot how good they were then. Not as big as fan of their 80s stuff. I enjoy it, but the 70s stuff is far superior. Thanos, get yourself better music.
Nope, Thanos is right. 80s Aerosmith is very lame, but that's okay.
Thunder from Down Under.
That's him.
And we mentioned the other day, his band, he's got a band called Frozen Tears.
Yep.
They did a very good version of Come On and Love Me. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, very cool. Yep.
Yeah.
Then we got one other email from Rod Gommond. He says, in the dictionary under gaunt, because apparently we talked about the word gaunt last episode. In the dictionary under gaunt, it should be a picture of Sonny's brain. He should never be allowed to rate anything again. This album is a classic beyond all, and you guys, Tom and Zeus, are fantastic. But Sonny should apologize to God that the ears he was given are not being used the correct way. Thank you. Rod in Arizona, formerly of Pawtucket, and an old listener of WAAF in Boston.
Oh, somebody from the bucket was catching WAF all the way there? Wow.
That is awesome. Great stuff, Rod. And, Sonny does the best that he can do. We need him on the show to bring this kind of negative energy to the show, which I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that coming with this one.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know where Sonny stands on DLR Van Halen, so we'll see.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yep. And that's what we got for Rock's feedback this month.
All right, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. So we turn to Tom and his pick this month, and he picks Van Halen's Fair Warning. What we usually do at this point, we each talk about how we got into the album. And Tom, this is your pick. Why don't you lead us off?
Okay, so Fair Warning came out in 1981. 1981 for me was, other than when I first discovered Kiss, 1981 was arguably the most definitive and formative year in my life as a music fan. It's when MTV started, and I was 8 years old. My sister at the time was 12, and I've already done Billy Squier, Don't Say No from 81. Fair Warnings. There's probably about 6 or 7 albums that are at the core of my music, like rock fan development. Fair Warning's one of them. I got a bunch more that we'll probably eventually get to. But I remember when MTV first started, there were no real videos. A lot of the videos were concert footage clips. And I remember that from early Def Leppard, early Rush, and of course, early Van Halen. And I remember seeing the clips from the Forum in 1981. And it was the same concert. You can watch it on YouTube. And it was the songs from Fair Warning. And the one that sticks out specifically in my head was when I first saw the clip on MTV of So This Is Love. And I knew nothing about Van Halen. So this is their 4th album. I had never heard a single song from Van Halen before Fair Warning came out. And I remember watching this video and being like, this is like look at the crowd. Look at like the singer, like jumping around. Look at the guitarist, like the energy, like the lights and like I had never seen anything like that before because of course MTV was brand new. I'd never been to a concert. There was no DVDs or VHS. So I was like, not just seeing a music video, I was seeing a concert of a band that was just, to this day, is still like so charismatic and energetic. And it just pulled me right in. And I remember going to our local record shop for the people in the New England area. Strawberries, Records and Tapes was huge. I remember begging to get the Fair Warning cassette just because I wanted to hear So This Is Love. And I knew a little bit about Unchained and hear about it later because those were the other videos from that concert. And that just began my love affair with classic Van Halen. And I ended up going backwards to the catalog. But Fair Warning is ground zero for me for my love of Van Halen and just classic, like guitar, hard rock, not metal, not hair metal, kind of straddling the lines of both. And I've been sitting on Fair Warning for a long time since we started ARC. So kind of excited to see what we got going on with this one.
Was that on McGrath Highway? That Strawberries in Medford?
That's exactly the one. Yep.
I know it.
Yep.
I know.
Yep. Sonny.
Yeah, for me, I'm an MTV kid, but I don't get into music till 84. There's only me and my brother, and I'm the oldest. So there wasn't anybody to kind of hand off stuff to me. I was the one doing the brainwashing, I guess is the way to put it. So by the time 84 comes around, you're seeing Jump, Panama, and I was interested just because it was on MTV. It was catchy stuff. The guitar player was bananas, right? And all those guitar heroes were coming out of the 80s anyway. I didn't know a lot about Van Halen. I was kind of off and on listening to it. Wasn't super into the 1984 album. Jump and Panama were okay. I was more into VOA, Sammy Hagar, and all that kind of stuff because I was a Bay Area kid, and these guys were an LA band. So, there's always that animosity between LA and the Bay Area. I didn't get Fair Warning or any of the older Van Halen albums until Eat 'Em and Smile comes out. So now Eat 'Em and Smile and 5150's out there. I'm listening to kind of new Van Halen going, all right, this is the new kind of Sammy Van Halen. I get 1984. I'm like, oh, this album's pretty damn good. And then I go backwards and listen to all the Van Halen stuff. So I don't probably get this album till, I don't know, late 80s, because you start hearing about Eddie Van Halen's like God and everybody's, influenced by him and blah, blah, blah. You don't know that when you're watching Jump. Like, you have no idea, right? So that's kind of how I got into the album. Then I ended up obviously buying all the Van Halen albums because reality is, if you're a rock fan and you love melodic hard rock, if you don't have the first 6 Van Halen albums, what are you doing? Like, you need to get the first 6. I mean, you know, whether you're a Hagar fan or whether you like Van Hagar better or not, those first 6 Van Halen albums are like not having the first 6 Kiss albums. I mean, it's ridiculous, to be honest.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I got into Fair Warning.
Okay. Zeus.
So, like Tom, MTV kid, I caught those videos. I never hear about it later, but I did see Unchained and So This Is Love. And older brother, older cousins, I knew of Van Halen, and I liked the music. Didn't really get into like buying Van Halen stuff until 1984, and then just started going backwards from there. And by the time I'm in college, I have everything. I mean, again, like I agree 100% with Sonny. If you're into this music, how do you not have all the Van Halen albums? So, yeah, I went back and bought them. I listened to it. Didn't really play it that much, I'll be honest with you, until you picked this. So a lot of the songs sounded like, oh, I kind of remember that. And it'll be interesting to discuss. But, yeah, I was around the same time as you, Tom. I got into it from those MTV videos.
I just think 1981 for me, not even just nostalgia, but that to me was like such a perfect era of hard rock. It was, you were getting away from like the 70s, and it wasn't Black Sabbath or Judas Priest or Maiden, and it wasn't yet Motley Crue and Poison. It was like hard rock, but like, it was like Def Leppard, High and Dry. It was AC/DC, Back in Black, and For Those About to Rock. It was Fair Warning. It was it was like hard rock, but like melody kind of like still like it's albums and then you even had bands like Journey and Foreigner and that kind of stuff. I think to me it's such a perfect era of hard rock for me personally, and I love talking about these albums, and plus it's just the nostalgia overload between MTV and hitting all the record stores. I love talking about this era.
Yeah, and I like the fact that we all just bought music or got into music because we liked it.
Yep.
It wasn't the internet. There wasn't a fucking divide. Like, oh, you can't like that. That's thrash.
Exactly.
Or you can't like that because that's too pop.
Yep.
Oh, these guys are posers. Like, if you liked it, that was it. It was good enough. It was good enough music for you. That's the only reason.
Yep.
Yeah, and Tom, you were young, but we kind of talk about it all the time. Like, think about the music that's coming out in 81. What's coming out in 85, what's coming out in 89, what's coming out in 93, what's coming out in 97. Like, depending on how old you are, your musical taste is completely different.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, you're right. Like that 3 to 4 year window changes so dramatically that it depends. Right. We talk about this a lot on ARC. It's like where you were at the time. You know, like even Sonny, like Sonny, like even your story about how you discovered David Lee Roth Van Halen was like and based on where you live. And like you said, you know, having an older brother or not having any older siblings or, you know, not having any siblings or MTV influence. It really does steer your musical kind of fandom.
Yeah. The only thing I would just add to that is like after the 90s, it changed.
I agree.
No one's like, oh, you must be into the 2008 era,
right?
The 2003, like for us, hard rock kind of like.
It's true.
Yeah. So, fair warning. We next go to the album cover.
Oh boy. This is quite a cover. It is. I mean, it kind of gives you a taste of what you're about to listen to. Just speaking in terms of like the color scheme is just dirty, grimy, nasty. It's all black and brown and gray and just grungy. The imagery comes from a painting by an artist named William Kurelek. It's called The Maze. And it was painted while this guy was in a mental hospital over in the UK. And the album cover, the front and the back of the album cover are sections of a larger painting, as I mentioned, called A Maze. And if you go online, if you go onto Wikipedia and search for it, I mean, I'm not an art critic or anything, but it is one of the most stunning things you've ever seen. Again, he describes it as a painting about the inside of his skull and what was going on in his life and the abuse that he suffered as a child and, you know, pretty much why he was in a mental hospital. And the full painting it's like a cross section of like a skull, with little compartments dictating different portions of his life. It's really like disturbing. And it's like, it's so not Van Halen. I mean, you think of like the other album covers and their other music and their other themes about, you know, partying and beautiful girls and everybody wants some. And then you get this, you're like, what the fuck? And I remember seeing like the actual proper cover, and the image that sticks out to me is the kid getting his face punched in with the other kid, like with the other kid pointing at it. You know, it's just, the artwork is just so grimy, and you know, you flip it over and there's like a kid like strapped to like a conveyor belt, and it's just like, what the hell happened to Van Halen?
Yeah, for me, so the pictures, I've got most of them figured out. There's one picture I can't figure out, so I need your help with this. Okay. So on the front, okay, upper left, homie's banging his head against the wall. We've all done that. We've probably all done the one that's on the upper right, being the shit out of this kid.
Yep.
I've also done the pointing. Look, he's getting his shit beat out of him. All right, lower left, he's kicking somebody out of the house or out of the door. So you don't always see that on the album cover, but if you look at the painting, the painting is actually on the album cover. You see the guy kicking, but you don't really see the guy falling out of the door. So that's actually kicking out of the door.
Yep.
All right, so on the back, upper right, we got the guy about to become a souvenir penny.
Yeah.
Right? So that's easy.
Yep.
On the bottom right, so what he's doing there is, in the painting, I don't know if you can see it on your album cover. It depends on what album you got. But on the painting, the kid is actually holding a bloody knife, and he has cut off the skin off of his left arm, and he's comparing his skeleton to the skeleton that's on the album cover. So that's a little interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
The picture I can't figure out is the back left. Is that a telescope? There's a bunch of people watching something, but I can't tell what it is, and I couldn't tell from the painting either.
Okay. There is actually...
Is that a telescope?
If you go on Wikipedia, so there's a thing right here that's called the test tube panel. And it says there are many doctors probing a human subject inside of a test tube. And then it says right here, Kurelik believes that science could provide a cure-all for troubles, but at the same time, he found the doctor's constant watching over him was unpleasant. So he says above the half-naked subject in the test tube is a snake. It's just, this guy was definitely disturbed, but obviously brilliant, but brilliant as an artist. To me, again, I'm no art critic, but the fact that somebody so disturbed and so mentally abused could put this type of art together is just, to me, stunning. But like I said earlier, the fact that Van Halen chose this as the album cover is like, what the fuck?
Zeus, I want to get your take on the picture of the actual band in the jacket or in the album.
Yeah. We'll talk about that too.
That looks like 4 separate pictures put together to me.
Yeah, the inside headshots of everybody.
It is.
If that's not Sears for Michael Anthony there, I don't know what that is. Look at that fucking headshot.
Dude, Alex kind of looks like a woman. Especially with that big hoop.
She looks like the girls soccer coach.
It kind of looks like Joe from Facts of Life.
The timing's right.
Yeah, that's true. It's 81.
Yeah, it's just not.
And David Lee Roth looks like Blair.
Michael Anthony looks like Natalie. Is that what you're saying?
And Eddie Van Halen looks like Mrs. Garrett. There you go. Oh my.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
That's just great. Yeah, as far as the cover goes, I always, I knew that it was like the brown covered album.
Me too.
I never really sat there and looked at it all the way through, like until really, recently. Then I'm like, oh, that's somebody beating the shit out of somebody on the front, because it's all just like kind of like mush mash shit together, so you don't really pick up on it.
Yep.
Because of the color schemes, but whatever. It's interesting, at least. I'll give them that.
I think the other thing too about album covers, and we're talking about this, like in 1981, there was no album cover analysis. You had no idea what the hell this was. We didn't know who William Kurlick is or the painting called The Mate. You just looked at it and be like, what the fuck is this? Who painted this? It's so, but then the other side of the inside jacket cover, it's got that spray painted quote, with the little Van Halen logo and the broken, the cracked wall and like the window and stuff. It's just so grimy and dirty. And it's just, I don't know. It's definitely unique for Van Halen.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing too, real quick. I hate they pulled a Kiss, and the album tracks on the back are not in the order that they are on the album. I have the vinyl, and the albums, the track listing is not the track listing that they appear on the album.
Oh yeah, because it goes, so this is love.
Push comes to shove,
sinner swing. Oh yeah, they're wrong.
Yeah,
the first one's right, and the last two are right.
The CD is correct.
The CD, yep. Zeus is holding up the CD.
The remastered CD is correct. Yeah.
Yep. Another thing, too, I noticed about this, and I guess this is Sonny getting into my brain with stupid little minutia.
That's nice.
That's a compliment. Three different forms of punctuation. A question mark, an exclamation point, and quotation marks. This is what my life has been reduced to right now.
Fascinating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that kind of hard-hitting analysis anywhere else.
I think we did a Kiss episode on shit like that before.
Favorite punctuation songs. Anyways.
All right, let's get to some of the facts. Van Halen's Fair Warning came out April 29th, 1981. The album was produced by Ted Templeman. If you know Van Halen, you know he produced all their albums, and he's famous for that. The album went to number 5 on US Billboard's 200. It's double platinum, and it's the least selling David Lee Roth Van Halen album.
Ooh, what a tragedy. Oh, that is such a crime.
Yeah, I'm like, really? And then I look back at the albums. I'm like, Diver Down is not the least, but all right.
But remember, though, Diver Down had the constant, endless playing of the Pretty Woman video.
Oh.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but that was darling, that song. And you think about it. Well, I mean, we'll get into it. Fair Warning is I'll save it until we get to the tracks. But go ahead.
No, that's all I got.
Okay. No, and I was going to say, I mean, if you're a Van Halen fan or if you're a music fan, like the three of us are talking about all this nerding out, the backstory of Fair Warning was pretty much the reason this album is so dark and gloomy and nasty. This is when Eddie Van Halen kind of hated being in the band and actually thought of leaving the band. He was getting frustrated with different things involving actual Ted Templeman and David Lee Roth. And he says, quote, on the whole, I was angry, frustrated, and loose. And that's why the anger and all the unhappiness comes through in a lot of these songs, giving it kind of like a really dark and kind of sleazy tone. Which, if you're a Van Halen fan, you know that this is not any of those other albums that you've heard before. There's no fun, beautiful girls, dance the night away. None of that's on this album.
With that, let's get to the opening track. Here we go.
Mean Street. Okay, let's get this part out of the way. It's 1981, and I'm sure anybody who is listening to this album is listening to Eddie's guitar tone and going, what the fuck? Right? Like the guitar tone is outstanding. It's crunchy. It's dark. It's everything you would want in an electric guitar player. And his guitar solos are all bananas. Like there's nothing touching the guitar solos. So there's a reason why Eddie Van Halen is who he is. Rumor is that David saw, the poverty in Haiti, and that's what attributed to some of the lyrics. I kind of like the way the song starts. You got kind of that muscle riff. You got the muscle tapping going on. But my problem is the song's almost a downer. Like for a party band to start with a song that's so serious, like the pace is just kind of slow to me. I know it's not super slow, but you speed this thing up about 33%, like I did on, I did it myself the other day on Audacity. It sounds a lot better, faster, to be honest. I don't love the chorus. I do like the breakdown that's about 3.5 minutes in. So for a party band to start with this song, it's not exactly a banger to me.
Oh my God. This is where we're starting out that Mean Street is not a banger.
It is not a banger. And if you say it is, you're a liar.
Okay. Oh, you're right. I'm a liar. All right. Guys, see you later. I'm going to lie for the next 2 hours right now. Sonny, I'll give you this. If you are comparing this to party rock Van Halen, you're right. You're right. But I don't look at any of this stuff in comparison to anything. I just look at the song. And to me, this is, I hate saying that anything is the best because it's kind of impossible to do that. But this is arguably one of the greatest Eddie Van Halen riffs ever. Ever. I don't even care if you like this album, if you like this song. I don't even care if you don't like Van Halen. When he does that tapping intro and then goes into the main riff with nothing but the guitar, that is the stuff of early 80s hard rock right there. And Sonny, you said that tone, nobody was doing this kind of tone. That vicious crunch, that distortion. And then all of a sudden the band kicks in. And to me, that groove is just undeniable. I mean, what Alex Van Halen is doing with those drums and those cymbals and keeping that groove going. And then as soon as David Lee Roth gets in, At Night I Walk These Stinking Streets, right off the bat, you know that this album is just nasty. The title of the song, the way that David is singing, it's just grimy. It's aggressive. It's heavy. I don't like the chorus. I think the chorus kind of feels like it was kind of shoehorned into the song. It doesn't really jive, which is rare for a Van Halen kind of gang vocal chorus. I love the breakdown. I think the breakdown is really cool when he starts saying fair warning, that strike that poor boy down. I think and then it goes right into a solo. I mean, this song is absolutely one of the great Van Halen songs. Is it a party song? No, it's a downer. The lyrics are terrible. It's depressing. It's probably not what you want to hear from Van Halen. That being said, the band is on point on this one.
All right. All the tracks are credited to all 4 members.
That's unique.
Yeah. Eddie Van Halen, Edward.
Yeah, when did he start becoming Edward? Did that happen after he passed away?
I don't know.
People have been doing that.
I never, ever referred to him as Edward.
It sounds pretentious.
That's because normal people. It's all fucking snooty, pretentious people that go Edward Van Halen.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I know normal people. I mean, look, I'm doing this show, the 3 of us. I don't know if any of us are normal, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, Alex Van Halen, David Lee Roth, and Mark Anthony, as Ace's girlfriend would call him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We love Mark Anthony. It's really good. Oh, God.
He'll be performing at my friend Eddie's party, not Edward's.
Yeah, she said it was Eddie Trunk's birthday party. An idiot. Anyways, go ahead, Zeus.
Who, Lockjaw? Somebody called it. Anyway, it was the 3rd single. It was only released in Europe. I just put the guitar almost sounds like, well, that can't be a guitar. That's a keyboard, right? That's not a guitar. It's just so how the hell you make that sound? It has to be some sort of synth. No. It's him playing. I just wrote, it's just a typical great Eddie riff. What can you say? The solo's great. The subject matter seems serious. It's not partying. And then I just love the breakdown bridge. Fair warning. I love when people put an album title in a song.
Yep.
And the whole strike that poor boy down. And then kind of going into a little bit of an outro there. I like the song. It is not a very, as you explained, Tom, song that you would expect from Van Halen. But I like that the band will change things up from once in a while. So yeah. Let's go to track number 2.
Dirty Movies. All right. So, the guitar sounds at the beginning, super weird, but cool. The groove that Alex is setting down is awesome. I like that the song kicks in about 45 seconds in. This whole thing that Dave's doing about the most popular girl in school is now doing porn, and he's got that kind of kitschy sense of humor, the movie theater feel with the whole take it off, take it all off, and the clapping. That's all Dave Lee Roth, and all of that is fine. I thought the clapping thing went a little long. I thought that Eddie's fills and guitar sounds and melodies and all the stuff he's doing during the choruses are actually 100% better than the actual chorus. And then you got another mid-tempo songs. That's not what I would call peppy. So I would think that Mark Anthony is sitting in the corner going, are we supposed to be a party band? Like, what the hell is going on here?
Did you purposely call him Mark Anthony?
Now I want to call everybody Mark Anthony. I'm not calling him Michael Anthony anymore. I'm going to keep calling him Mark Anthony, and I'm going to keep calling him Ted Templeton.
I'm going to start calling him Terry Pendleton.
Terry Pendleton. Yeah.
And Gary Pettis as well. Might throw him in there.
So it's just you got back-to-back songs that I guess if you are a super-duper Van Halen fan, you're just happy that there are two great songs that Eddie had a hand in writing. To me, I am more of a Van Hagar fan than I am a Van Halen, David Lee Roth fan. So to me, I like the party Van Halen. I don't need anything else out of my Van Halen. And these two songs don't come off party to me. So if I did not know who Van Halen was besides this, I would have never got to the third song if this is the only album I'd ever heard.
This is why I love ARC. So Dirty Movies. This is the thing I love about Van Halen in general, and the thing I actually love about this album specifically as we continue through it. I love the intro. I love I can't think of a word to describe him. Anytime Eddie does those sounds at the beginning, to me, it always sounds like the guitar is like sparkling. Like it's kind of like this real like crystal. It's kind of hard to explain. But then I love how it drops into like this slow stomp. And I want to say this now. I didn't say it during Mean Street. Alex Van Halen and Michael Anthony on this album are absolutely out of this fucking world with the rhythms that they are carrying through each song. And, you know, as I'm listening to this album, anytime you're in a band with Eddie Van Halen, you're going to be completely overshadowed. And I feel like Alex Van Halen is so fucking amazing as a drummer that it's impossible to stand out. It kind of reminds me, I'm a big Rush nerd. It's like Alex Lifeson is like so underrated because of course he is. He's in a band with Neil Peart. So how can he not like it? When you're in a band with a legendary, one of a kind, generational icon, it's hard to like have anybody talk about you. I just want to get that out there because just waving the flag for Alex Van Halen because I think this song, I think the verses in this song are awesome. I love the groove and the kind of the sleazy vibe. The bridge is kind of a little bit weak, but Sonny, I'm going to disagree with you. It's not going to be the last time. I actually love the gang chorus on this. I actually really love the tone of Michael and Eddie's like background vocals. I think it sounds awesome. And then of course the breakdown with, you know, remember this girl used to be prom queen and then take it off and the clapping. I think it's a super deep cut. And I think that's one of the things I really like about Fair Warning is it's not overplayed like the first two albums. You know, a lot of these songs are kind of special, quote unquote, is that you're never going to hear Dirty Movies anywhere unless you put it on yourself. So, it's a unique track, but I dig it.
Dirty Movies. So I just wrote, it has like a wicked 80s type intro. Can't describe it, but I think of in the 80s when I hear that intro. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, it almost takes a minute to get to the main riff, which I don't know. There's nothing to me. It's nothing interesting. Whatever he's fucking doing the first minute, just get to the fucking song. But anyways, the song itself, this is the first song that I really started noticing all the David Lee Roth ticks.
Oh God,
what?
Wicked.
In between, like it's like he's doing like fills of ticks. And this is the first time I really picked up on it, but I love the chorus on this and the backing vocals. I think it's really good. I thought that the solo was a little understated. And here's the thing. I disagree with you guys with the Take It Off. That second Take It Off is the most effeminate guy Take It Off I think I've ever heard. It sounds like Jack Torse from the Jerky Boys. Take it off.
See,
Take it off.
See, I actually
wicked off.
I actually think it's the opposite. I think it's actually sounds like a guy who's angrily yelling at a woman to take it off. Seriously.
Hello, is this Crisol?
Is it Crisol?
Take it off. It sounds like the guy that answers the phone from that Rat song. Hello, take it off. Just, I don't know. It doesn't really work for me that much. I'm like, I thought the music sounded and the vocals and the verses sounded a little bit familiar. I'm like, does that sound a little bit like Rod Stewart's Infatuation? Like,
what?
Yeah.
That's an upbeat song. That doesn't sound.
Yeah, if you slow it down, that's the point.
Okay.
But I like the song and I love the fucking chorus. There's something about it that sounds so full when they get the backing. Like it doesn't like, it's not like a hollow backing callback.
Mm-hmm.
It's solid and thick. And I think that's Mark Anthony that's doing most of that. So
I think
it's all his Latin singing maybe helps him out.
I do have to say one of the worst parts of this, maybe one of the worst parts of anything we've ever done in the history of ARC, is at the very, very end when David Lee Roth goes, lights, camera, action. I'm like, oh, that should have been edited out. That's so bad. That's so bad.
This came out before Action, Not Words, right?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All you sinners out there, swing.
Sinners swing, get out and push. All right. Blues type riff, Alex. The drums on this song is absolutely wild. The guitar solo is fucking crazy. The song's a little peppier. I like it. It's a little bouncier. Love the chorus. This is the type of song that you kind of get now. All right, Sunset Strip is going to end up being basically this song from 86 to probably 90. Everybody coming from the Sunset Strip is trying to rewrite this type of almost just right amount of dirty type song without getting too crazy kind of thing. Overall, I think it's much better than the first two songs. And I will just say, I'll eat my fingers, want my iron in that fire is just a cooler way to say log in your fireplace.
All right, Sinner Swing. So I like what we're doing here. We're starting off, a tempo change here. Van Halen does this kind of stuff so well. Like, I know everybody loves the songs, like Hot for Teacher and like those fast songs. I do too. But again, another super deep cut here. A song you're never going to hear. It's never going to be played live or on a compilation or anything. I love how it starts out right away, right off the bat with the guitar and Alex just crushing it. And then as David like singing, it's kind of just the drums with a little bit of the guitar fill. And then the whole band kicks in. When the whole band kicks in and you kind of get that call and answer, you get that Michael Anthony backing vocal. He does like Eddie comes in with an incredible solo. The chorus is kind of weird. The working title for the song was called Get Out and Push. And they kind of say that like the push stuff like 1,000 times. I think it's a killer track. And again, I think the same thing with Dirty Movies. It's not overplayed. It's not beaten into the ground. It's not Running with the Devil or Ain't Talking About Love, both which are legendary Van Halen songs. I think it's great. I like you got 3 songs doing 3 different things to kick off the album for me.
Sinner Swing, exclamation point. I'm like,
Sinners swing.
I got to put more feeling into it. It's like a precursor for Hot for Teacher.
And spoiler alert, it's way better than Hot for Teacher.
Oh, hell no, it's not.
Oh, it's not even close.
Dude, I'm hung up. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's not even. You're not the only one that has strong bad takes on this show, Sonny. I can do it.
God, dude.
Hot for Teacher's terrible. The only reason that song's popular is because of the video. Go ahead, Zeus.
I knew this, like the melody of it is very familiar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do I know this? It's from it's an Elvis song. I know it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's from the melody. Dun, 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 dun. It works. It's a song called Meanest Girl in Town. It's off his Girl Happy fucking soundtrack.
We got to win this race.
In the middle, there's a couple good rockin' songs in there. Meanest Girl in Town is exactly like the melody follows this exactly. But anyways, I like all the backing the vocals again in the pre-chorus, and then the stuttering.
That's so stupid. I remember the first time I heard that, like, what's happening there?
Oh my God, the whole fucking Mr. Tipton there.
Tipton.
And then you got a blistering Eddie solo, which you kind of expect. I actually like the song. It's fun. And this is what I would expect to find on a Van Halen album. So, all right, let's go to the last track on the album, side one.
Hear about it later, kind of get that clean intro into a dark groove. To me, this whole, the feel of this song is a little more melodic, almost as if this is the precursor to what Van Hagar becomes later. This could have been a same era song. I can tell you that. Baby, I don't wanna wouldn't have been the backing core vocals if Sammy was in charge. I could tell you that. And you know, David basically telling his girlfriend, look, other women throw themselves at me, so you got to just kind of put up with it. You know, I think that's great. The pre-chorus and chorus, meh. I like the verses, but the pre-chorus and chorus are meh. So we got 4 songs so far. None of these 4 songs are going to put them on the radio. So how the fuck does this album get to top 5?
MTV.
Well, here's the 4. So here's the 4 albums it couldn't beat, just in case you were wondering.
Yes.
Number 4 on that day, Paradise Theater Sticks.
Terrible.
Number 3, Dirty D's Done Dirt Cheap, AC/DC.
Nah.
Number 2, High Infidelity, REO Speedwagon.
Terrible.
Number 1, Mistaken Identity, Kim Carnes.
Terrible.
This thing went to number 5 on name recognition only. These first 4 songs did not take this album to number 5. I'm sorry. There's a reason this is the least selling album they have, because these first 4 songs don't exactly knock it out of the park. Sorry.
I say this all the time. This is why I love this show. I don't want people to agree with me, and that's where Sonny comes in. I will definitely agree with you. It's the 4th song on the album, and it's the first one that really shows a melody, a harmony, kind of a little bit of an upbeat, kind of fun song, something that maybe could have been on Van Halen 2, maybe. You know what I mean? But then again, of course, I have to strongly disagree with you. This is absolutely one of my favorite Van Halen choruses. I love the gang vocals. I love the singing. I love the fact that, look, David Lee Roth is not a great singer. No one's going to tell you that he is. On the albums, he sounds fun and cool. Live, he's horrendous. If you watch those YouTube videos of them at the Coliseum in 81, he's fucking, it's like Vince Neil. It's terrible. But I like how a lot of these choruses, the gang jumps in. He's not really singing the choruses by himself. It's you get that Michael Anthony, Eddie Van Halen, that backing harmony. I love the verses in here. I love the tone of Eddie's guitar. It's a lot different. It's super melodic, super harmonic, very, very cool, like breakdown. I love the breakdown and then the solo. But you're right. I could see this being a Van Hagar song. And this was one of those that made it onto those MTV from the Coliseum, the 81 clips. I love this song. The one thing I will say about this, we talk about this a lot on ARC, or at least I do, is the track listing for this album is so far is terrible. You open up with Mean Street, which I think is a killer opener with a classic riff. And then you go into like Dirty Movies and Sinner Swings, 2 songs I like, but just it's bad track listing for this album, in my opinion.
All right. Hear about it later. It was the 4th single. I'm like, this is pop Van Halen, which I'm kind of like changes everything up on this album. The chorus sounds so familiar. I'm like thinking, is this like something from a Kiss song that I can think of?
Yes.
But I'm like thinking it's got to be something from one of those like box sets demos that they did songs that I'm thinking like, was it on Creatures? I can't put it. I couldn't figure it out.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
And I just put another typical Eddie solo. I like it. It's a good pop song, I think. And there's a video, and this is the first of the videos. And these are all the videos from, I think, Oakland in 81.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
All right, so I'll start. So you got, if you've never seen the video, you need to go check it out. It's 3 songs. We'll most likely talk about all 3 songs. But in this video, Eddie's got the striped shirt with the striped socks, which is interesting. Mark Anthony, for some reason, is wearing a jumpsuit. I don't know why. You get the unison thrusts that you get every once in a while. They sound great. EVH is going off. Dude, I'm sorry. David's package was distracting. Like the socks that are stuffed into the package. And then the gymnastics and the high kicks and, the jungle sounds. And then he was trying oddly to stay in the pictures. Eddie was doing his solo, doing these weird things because he doesn't want Eddie to have his own spotlight. It was odd.
These are the videos we said at the beginning of the episode. This is what got me into Van Halen. But you're right. What Michael Anthony and Eddie Van Halen are wearing, those are layovers from like the punk new wave, or that's like early new wave shit. Yeah. Like, Eddie, what do? You look like you're wearing like a Where's Waldo outfit with the fucking red and white stripe. Like, what is it? Michael Anthony's got the Michael Myers fucking jumpsuit on. Like what is
he has a name tag that needs to be on there. He picks it up for his friend working at the oil change store or whatever.
It's such a weird look. It's like, it's so like, go back and look at like what like AC/DC was wearing or Def Leppard. Like Van Halen's wearing like costumes. It's like, it's so odd because it doesn't fit that type of music. I think David Lee Roth looks incredible. First of all, because he's blonde and he's got like that wicked, super wild mane of hair, no shirt. I mean, like fucking rock star, like 100%. The guy can't sing to a fucking garden hose though on these live performances. It's so bad. It's all he has is the jumping in the friggin' pants with the nuts hanging out. That's about it. But I think the band looks great. The only thing I was thinking of when I look at that, I feel like that stage is so huge. And there's like nothing going on. There's no lights. It's like so dark. Like you think now, like with like pyro and lights and like there's nothing. There's just a few spotlights. It's like the whole band's in the dark. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. What is it called? It's not the same like when you have like a male camel toe. Like it's like a
bulge. Oh, moose,
the hickory nuts.
What, a moose knuckle? No, isn't that
He's wild hickory nuts? You're so true, Sonny. He's like balls. He's like, it's not a dick. It's like a ball sack. It's like his ball. The balls are very well defined. It's not like that.
There's no shaft.
There's no Shaq photo of him in that SI coming out of the pool.
Coming out of the water. It looks like he's got a fucking Charleston chew hanging out of his shorts.
the fucking bulge that goes down Shaq's leg goes all the way down his leg. But like this is just like a ball sack. It's not like a dick thing that you can kind of like trace down. It's just wicked distracting. Yeah, Eddie looks like a house is going to land on him. He looks like when the Wicked Witch's legs crumble underneath the tree.
Yes!
Socks.
Perfect.
Like where the fuck did he get like, hey, this is a good look for me? When did that ever become a good look? It's just silly. Maybe he's trying to do like a fucking like Angus ripoff or something. Like, let me wear a school kid's stupid outfit or something.
It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. But Michael Anthony, he just looks like somebody like that David Coverdale would throw out of his band. Like, hey, we've been doing this English blues shit. I need to hit big in the U.S. You fatty shorty with the fucking beard. We ain't making it big in the U.S. with your fucking looks. We need better looking people. Get the fuck out. Like he looks like he shouldn't be there.
The other thing too, have you ever seen a band where all they do is they're all smiling? They're constantly smiling.
Yeah,
like that is there is no other band that I can think of where the lead guitar player, or the lead guitar player, the bass player, and of course they all just look like they're like everybody just told the funniest joke in the world.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And it's funny because the music doesn't necessarily match that. I mean, the early Van Halen records, it does, like Sonny said, like the party stuff. I just found that fascinating watching these videos. They're all just having like the time of their lives, as they should. They're fucking Van Halen.
I think when you say that, I always think of him when they cut to the like keyboard solo and jump, and he's like, smiling like Stevie Wonder on the, like, why are you so happy, dude?
You know why he's so happy? He's so happy because he's so happy because he knows he's writing the worst song in the history of recorded music.
Yeah, because he just figured out what a synth is, and believe me, he'll change everything later on. When
he figures out what a synth is on this album.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then from here, then he fucking kills it. Yep. But anyways, I have to agree. Alex is doing his own thing. He's the only one that looks kind of normal back there. DLR is just, I'm telling you, I can't think of a more prototype lead singer for you to create in a band.
Yep.
He's a good looking, fit, jumps, fucking ripped, long blonde mane, just theatrics, just a perfect showman. I mean, I will say this. He's like the first guy that I could think of back then that I'm like, yeah, dude, I would like to be him for a day.
Yep.
Every guy, and like guys didn't think he was Bret Michaels. Like, look at that fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Like guys wanted to be him, even though he was like pretty boyish.
Plus he's ripping bottles of whiskey in the middle of songs. Like,
but are we not going to talk about that fucking wicked, embarrassing hump dance that they were doing when they come?
That's the unison thrust. They do that all the time.
I know, but that's the first time I ever saw it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Dude, that makes fucking the deuce dance look like fucking the thrashiest thing of all time.
But that's what I'm saying. They don't like that little thrust thing and then the smiling and stuff. It's like, you're in Van Halen, right? Like, you're not in fucking Katrina in the Waves.
So
like,
only a couple years later, Metallica down the street in San Fran is angry, talking, hating all these posers. How is it that Van Halen, if somebody saw this video, never gets the shit that like Winger or fucking what do you call it gets when they're doing the 3-part hump dance like on the stage, and they're always smiling and happy
because they got the musical chops to back it up. No one's gonna shit on Van Halen in that era. No one. They got Eddie Van Halen to carry him.
Winger's not fucking slouches that band musically.
Winger didn't come out in 1981 though. That's the difference.
And they didn't grow up in the clubs in the Sunset Strip.
Right.
Everybody was going to see Van Halen in the clubs.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just
plus
saying,
Van Halen came out in the 70s, so by the time these videos were shown,
I'm just saying it's wicked cheesy.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is.
All right, let's flip the album over and get to more what we know as Van Halen.
Unchained. All right. One of the best riffs of all time. How this was not a hit single, I will never know. And if you're listening to this podcast right now, you don't like Unchained, then you should just stop listening to Van Halen, because this is a David Lee Roth era masterpiece. Everything you want about Van Halen, the riff, the energy, the chorus, the great verses, the backing vocals, the guitar solo, the breakdown, the Dave spoken word, everything is perfect in this song for DLR Van Halen. And it's amazing because Ted and Eddie are not getting along at this point. We talked about that a little bit. Ted didn't like all the stuff Eddie was doing on guitar, so Eddie and Don Landy would go in afterwards, after hours, and change stuff, and then just leave it in there. And then Ted would listen to the stuff that's changed and go, oh, that sounds great, that kind of thing, and not really know that Don and Eddie were doing that. And then, of course, you got Templeton's only vocal contribution. Come on, Dave, give me a break. Whatever.
Who's
Templeton?
Terry Pendleton.
Terry Pendleton. Yeah.
Terry Pettis.
Yeah. Unchained, one of my favorite David Lee Roth era songs for sure.
Yeah. I mean, this is just, it's so good. It's almost difficult to talk about, because it's so perfect. It's so amazing. I mean, we hate Rolling Stone, but Rolling Stone ranked at number 1 on the list of Van Halen songs.
That's reader's poll, Tom.
Oh, that's true. Yes. Thank you for correcting me. I'll clarify. It's a reader's poll. It's not Rolling Stone themselves.
Exactly.
So at least the readers of Rolling Stone got it right. Yeah. The riff is, it's an undeniable song. I mean, not liking Unchained is just, you don't like hard rock. From start to finish, the song is absolute perfection. The riff, the chorus, what the band is doing, the breakdown, like you said, the Ted Templeman, give me a break. Gary Pettis, give me a break.
Give me a break.
Give me a break. I shall deserve it. But this is
I thought you were going to give me a break at that Kit Kat bar.
No,
Where the hell did you go?
Nell Carter, give me a break.
TV show.
Well, was that a spin-off of Facts of Life that we've already covered today?
I don't know, but give me a break. I think we talked about this one. She had to be the largest lead actor in a series, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, she was
what about
they'd be given their own series.
Melissa McCarthy?
Oh, Nell Carter's fat ass was bigger than her, right?
Really?
Yeah, I think so. She was
Mike and Molly?
Yeah, she was big.
Yeah, it's a good. Actually, she was fat in Mike and Molly. Yeah, it's a good point.
But it's hard to make those like because you're limited because you're not gonna have like love stories in those series.
Why
if
not?
your actress is like 400, 500 pounds.
Most definitely. All right, let's get back to Unchained before we veer off into more 80s sitcom women.
80s fat women.
That'll be the next Shout It Out Loudcast bracket challenge. Hot fat actresses.
And Delta Burke was looking good.
Oh, dude, don't sleep on Delta Burke. Designing women, those chicks are hot.
They were.
Oh,
one was fatter than the next.
oh, she had those blue eyes though. Woo. Big booty. Big booty Burke.
Fucking potato chip crusty fucking lips too.
It's okay. You save some for later. All right, back to Unchained here. This is like the most metal that Van Halen probably ever got. I don't think there was anything either before or after that. I mean, maybe like Atomic Punk or something like that. One thing I noticed about this, and whenever we do ARC albums, you listen to these albums constantly, nonstop. During the chorus of this song, the cymbals that Alex is playing, it's like it's a constant like wave of cymbals. You're not hearing like you're just hearing like the wave of the. Listen to the song, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyways, Unchained, fucking perfect, legendary, classic song.
Unchained, it was the second single. The riff and that kind of, it's just
so good.
I don't know. This is Van Halen almost, it seems like at their most cocky.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can pull this fucking thing off. And I think if you really want to encapsulate the best of Van Halen, this has got to be one of your go-to songs of the David Lee Roth era. Right? It's just so much fun. I love the chorus on this. It's fucking the pre-chorus even on this. Typical Eddie solo. The come on, give me a break shit. It only works if it's David Lee Roth. We're so used to him talking and being a character within these songs that one break coming up, just everything about it, like everything that Van Halen is well known for, that they can pull off, like they put it together in this one song and it just worked. It's my favorite guitar work that he has on this album. That fucking sound that he pulls off is just, even you can hear it even in the choruses in the background. And then the right when he gets into the one break coming up and then bang.
Yep.
Oh my God. It's just fantastic. And then there's the video. And the video is same as the other one, the Oakland Coliseum kind of video. And there's that opening jump at DLR, which we all know. It's just Eddie smiling. I said he makes it look like it's so fucking easy.
Oh yeah,
what he's doing up there.
Yep.
Mark Anthony is hamming it up. Alex is going wild on the drums, and I've just like nobody can touch them. I'm saying in this era. If I'm like Kiss and other bands and every other fucking rock band out there, I'm like, dude, how do we compete with this? And them doing that song live and performing. And I liked his version of doing it live. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought David Lee Roth hit it off.
It's funny you say that about like in 1981, Kiss was doing music from The Elder.
Yeah.
Van Halen's doing
a bull.
Van Halen's doing Unchained. What the fuck, Kiss? I mean, come on, dude. God, just incredible.
Give me your best track from your latest album, Unchained. Give me your best track. Just
Under the Rose.
Just the boy? Like
Escape from the Island? It has nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, at least The Oath has a killer riff. Just fucks up with the falsettos, but my God.
But yeah. Anybody else want to jump in on the video?
Nah, you just get the gong on fire, right? Hit it 10, 15 times to end the show. You got people losing their shirts. All of a sudden, nobody's got a shirt on anymore except for Mark Anthony, because, he's a bigger.
The other thing that's cool, too, when you watch that video, 1981, nobody's got a fucking phone in their hand. All eyes are on the stage in awe, people reaching and grabbing for them because
for his ball sack that is fucking even bigger than the last. Like throughout the concert, it was getting bigger.
Well, yeah, because he was getting excited. He was getting an erection.
He was getting a ball erection. His balls swell up when he gets excited. Oh,
I was just going to make a Johnny Dangerously reference if anybody knows that.
Oh yeah,
he's suffering from enlarged scrotum syndrome.
That's right.
All right, let's move to the next one.
Push comes to shove. So, to me, you get this funky bass line. Song almost has a reggae type feel. It's like hangover music you should be waking up to or something. If you're an R&B fan, no way you don't love this song. You take the guitar solo out, you could probably have an R&B charting hit crossover. I love the Talking Dave. I've always loved it because he can sell it. Gotta hand it to Eddie. He could ruin this song with a guitar solo didn't fit. Instead, it made the song even better. I would take 12 of these on a David Lee Roth album any day because to me, this is when Dave sounds the best, and the closest we got was Eat 'Em and Smile. To me, this is one of David Lee Roth's best vocals ever. He is good at this kind of stuff to me.
Sonny never ceases to amaze me here. I thought this was going to be like this. What the fuck is this doing on the album? You're right. I love the sleazy, funky groove. Again, this is why I gravitate towards Fair Warning. And I'm not going to try to convince anybody that it's better than the debut or that it's even better than Van Halen 2. It's just a unique album. The band, this band is so good at what they do musically that when they do stuff like this, it works. This song probably shouldn't be good. It probably shouldn't be enjoyable. Sonny, you nailed it. David Lee Roth's vocals on this. It's not the wailing, cackling, Unchained shit, which we like. It's fun. I think this is really cool. The solo is really unique. Again, Alex kind of coming in with a shuffle. Like you said, even David Lee Roth admits that this is kind of reggae-ish. It's a really unique song. Again, it's another song that you're never going to hear unless you go to Fair Warning and say, I want to hear Push Comes to Shove. I think it's cool. I don't know what just happened right now.
Push Comes to Shove. Would you say it's reggae-ish? It made me think of the video that you sent me recently.
Oh no. I know what you're going to say.
Tom sent me a video of some fucking Haitian fucking guy, or I don't know what the fuck he is, singing "Somebody Fart in the Minibus."
Yep. It's a bunch of people sitting there going, farting on the minibus, farting on the, it's like, if you don't listen to the words, you're like, oh, this is like a catchy kind of vibe. And then you're like, wait, what are they singing?
In the minibus. And the video is people in a minibus in like some third world country and going like, who farted? Somebody farted in the minibus. And they're all happy, except for once in a while they'll show somebody be like, ew. I don't know, reggae now. I think of that fucking song. Thanks, Tom.
TikTok. Thanks to TikTok.
Yeah. Anyways, this is the ooh song.
Ooh. Yeah, exactly.
When push comes. Ooh, baby, I want to make love to you. This is the precursor to Ladies' Night in Buffalo for DLR.
That song is so bad.
I love that song.
So do I.
Ladies' Night in Buffalo.
Because David can sell that.
Yeah,
dude,
he can.
I think Ladies' Night in Buffalo is like, I'm going to pick up fat chicks. Because there's nobody good looking in Buffalo. And the city, the town, whatever, Buffalo's a fat thing. So it's like, ooh, it's time to go do some heavy lifting. Ladies' Night in Buffalo. That fucking song is very catchy. And this is like a precursor to that. It's very, like he's trying to do soul or Hall & Oates. I don't know what he's trying to do, but he could have been that kind of a factor. It's not bad, but I'll use a Tom phrase. This is not what I listen to Van Halen for. I don't listen to Van Halen to listen to Hall & Oates.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And I don't want Hall & Oates to do Van Halen. Stick to what you're good at. But it's not a bad song. It's David being, ooh, I'm sexy. Yeah. But now let's go back to the basics with the next track.
So this is Love, since you get a question mark there. And the question mark's interesting because is it supposed to be like optimistic about love, or is it like I'm not really impressed, so this is love? Right? So I'm not exactly sure if they were kind of looking for a yin and yang there. I can tell you it's a bouncy song. It's got a great groove, got a great bass line. I love the solo that Eddie does here because it's got a lot of feel to it. And they were obviously trying to write a radio hit because this darker album wasn't going to sell. This song got to 110, so it was right outside the Billboard Hot 100, and they had to pay radio stations to play it. So there was payola stuff all over this song trying to get it on radio. This is why Diver Down came so quick, because I think they figured out this album ain't going to sell. We better put something out, otherwise we're going to be in big trouble here. This is not by any means the Elder and going to end their career, but not charting on Hot 100 and you're one of the biggest bands out there was probably not going to end well if they didn't do something.
Mm. So this is Love. This is the foundation of my Van Halen fandom. This is the very first song I ever heard from them, and that was courtesy of those MTV Coliseum videos that we've been talking about throughout the episode. To me, this is one of those rare songs, and there's a few out there. We've covered some of them on ARC. I will never get tired of hearing this song. I don't care if it comes on, Sirius XM. I don't care if it comes up on Shuffle or if I manually select this song. Never, ever get sick of this song. That's not just the nostalgia of it either. The groove of the bass, Michael Anthony. Oh my God. The bass groove of this song. And then when the band kicks in, the chorus. Oh my God. I mean, this right here is everything that I love about this band in one song. The chorus, how you get the gang vocals singing. So this is love. And then David Lee Roth jumping, I need your love. The solo it's tasteful. It's not crazy, but it's crazy enough for Eddie Van Halen. You got the chorus, kind of like the outro there with David Lee Roth howling and Eddie just like hitting those chords. This song to me is just It's so good. And I kind of like it because I kind of feel like it's like my Van Halen song because it wasn't a hit. It wasn't like on a greatest hits album. I go to it all the time. And this is one of the reasons why Fair Warning to me is one of my favorite Van Halen albums, if it's not my favorite. But this song to me, just fucking spectacular on every level.
All right. So This Is Love. This was the first single. I love how they say, well, it was 110 on the Billboard 100. How the fuck do they know? They already went up to 100. Anyway, it was number 15 on mainstream rock tracks as well. This is, I didn't know Tom at this point, but in a different, only the next town over growing up, this song is the same thing for me. This is the video that I caught. This is the thing that I thought of Van Halen. This is my first introduction to them. And I love this song. And I remember as you grow up in Van Halen and people talk about like, oh, Van Halen, yeah, Running with the Devil and talking about love, jump, this and that. I'd be like, so This Is Love. What's that off of?
Exactly.
And people are like, don't you guys remember that? And they're like, it'd be like, no, isn't that the big song for them? And they would like, no.
Yeah, if you didn't have MTV, you didn't know this song.
Exactly. And we knew it in the beginning. And by the time people got MTV, like this wasn't being played as much. So, yeah, I just think this is, I don't know where it is. Is it the groove? Is it the vocals? Is it when my baby's on there and then Eddie's just you just hitting those like little fills in with the guitar.
Yes.
It's incredible. It's fucking incredible. And then got me on pins and needle. The drums and the bass coming in, everything. Oh. And Alex going nuts. And then the chorus, it's just, I don't know. I'm no surprise. I'm still thinking which one I like better. But these two fucking songs on this album are both off the charts. So
it makes me so happy to hear that somebody else likes this song as much as I do. Because I thought I was going to be on an island with this here.
How can't you love this?
Yeah, I agree.
And then the third video, which me and Tom got us into Van Halen. Any thoughts on it, Sonny?
Yeah. So, okay. Like I can live with the thrust move thing. I think Eddie running in place. That running in place thing he does, I think is cool. I think when Eddie jumps and his legs kind of
that's awesome.
Split, I think that's cool.
That's very
cool.
He
does the Nazi symbol with his legs.
Yeah. The high kicks that David's doing, those are not easy to do. The riser splits are amazing.
Yes.
Dude, the little sideways jumps, those are annoying and they're feminine. Okay, the little woo. The little sideways jumps he does. I'm like, what is that? Dude, you just jumped off the riser. What are you doing? Right? And I think it's uncomfortable when he's not the spotlight. Not quite too sure what to do. Doesn't have a guitar in his hand. And he doesn't want everybody watching Eddie. So he sometimes gets a little uncomfortable with his moves. And then a little sideways jump doesn't do it for me.
Yeah,
I think you have to find something negative.
But I think that he's not a headbanger. So he's not going to do what the other lead singers do when the guitarist is going nuts, just bang your head and rock. Yeah. He has to be like, I don't get this. You look at him, but half of you look at me too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just, but he does brag about getting his new Oakland scarf in this video.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I wonder if he got that at the pop-up store.
$70.
No. It's Oakland. The jacket opens up. Want to buy a scarf? Toothbrush.
Get some flat personal hygiene there.
Check us out. Stop, thief. All right. Let's go to the beginning of the downfall of the Van Halen sound.
The cliff dive off of Fair Warning.
Sunday afternoon in the park. I don't understand why this exists. Like, if Ted and Eddie were fighting about shit like this, then Ted was right. This is a completely unnecessary 118 seconds of anybody's life. And, if you got this in you, Wrath of Khan's coming out, E.T.'s coming out, Tron's coming out, Eddie, just sell this shit to somebody else. Why is this this is just as bad as later on throwing coins in a fucking piano and recording that. Like, this is just stupid. I don't understand why this exists.
Okay. So when I remember when I first heard this, and again, spending extra time listening to this in preparation for the episode. So when I was younger and I ended up getting one for my son, I had one of those cool Casio keyboards. Okay, I
don't know why I'm laughing.
Because it's funny. So the one I had all these different sound effects. And then when Michael was maybe 10, I got him one for Christmas. It was much bigger and much nicer. It had like drum effect, all kinds of
keys. Yeah.
That was beautiful. Really, really nice. Really nice keyboard. And I remember when I had mine, I would just sit around and fuck with sounds and make like because it was the 80s. It was the synth era. I feel like this is David Lee Roth being recorded with his new toy. He's like, you know what? Fuck all of you. I'm plugging in, my Electro Harmonix micro synthesizer, and I'm just going to waste 2 minutes of everybody's life by playing, the electronic version of someone taking a shit. Like, I don't get it. I mean, it's interesting, but it's once you hear it once, you don't ever need to hear this ever again, ever.
I was like, Sunday afternoon in the park, and I'm like, is there some sort of like Chicago connection to their song? Like from the title to this, I'm like, is it maybe that riff? Or
what's the title mean? I agree.
I look, I feel as though I agree with Sonny. I mean, I just put
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand this. So it does bleed into the next track, and it's kind of in the background of the next track. So why didn't you just make it as part of the same track?
Because he's Eddie Van Halen and he hated everybody at this time.
And people were putting out 8 song albums. You should have done that, because the next song, we'll get to it, but actually I'll hold that thought. Let's get to the next song.
Okay.
And that is this.
1 foot out the door. There is a rumor that this was recorded in one take.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it, because this recording is terrible. It sounds like a demo. There is no fucking way that the band who wrote Unchained wrote this shit. Ending the album with an absolute thud. And even Eddie's great guitar solo couldn't save this. This was, dude, give me Happy Trails any day over shit like this. I don't like this.
Okay. Again, I'm not going to try to convince anybody that this is a good song or that you should like it.
Because it's not.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you why I like it. Because
you're a homer.
Because it's my album. I'm going to tell you why I like it, because it's batshit. This song should not exist. When the guitar solo kicks in about halfway through, a minute in, I love it. Eddie's losing his mind. I like the heavy underlying synth of this, and in like the frenetic pace, you could tell that the song was written like, all right, hurry up, we gotta figure out how we're gonna end up this album. Let's end it with this. I like it. I mean, it's not a go-to song. I like it. I think the way it wraps up is kind of cool. But it's funny because reading an article here, it says, talking about 1 foot out the door, it says, and with that, fair warning comes to an exhausting close. I was like, well, it's only 9 songs. One of them's an instrumental. I'm not exhausted by the time this ends, but I'll give him credit for this. At least the album ended on this. If you're gonna put this somewhere, put it at the end.
1 foot out the door. I'm like, it's a fast song, but this is a throwaway song. I have the same thing as Sonny. This is a demo that it just wasn't finished. I don't understand it. Like I said, it bleeds from the old song that just came from it, Sunday afternoon in the park. So combine the two and finish the track. Were you on a deadline or something? I don't understand this. And then the solo goes, and then it just kind of drifts into an outro.
That's
As though
what
they just like had this song, somebody died, they're like, well, maybe we could piece this together and come up with something.
I like the outro, the fade.
It just seemed like, oh, is the album over? Is it? That's it? Huh. What a fucking downer. It just doesn't really do anything. But I will say this. It is one of the better solos on the album.
Absolutely.
It goes fucking nuts on it.
Yep.
But again, it just seems like like they had some thoughts, very Gene Simmons-ish, where they just have half completed thoughts on the last two tracks and they just threw shit against the wall. That's all. So that's Fair Warning. Tom, want to give us your lasting thoughts?
Yeah. So the thing about this album, to me, it has 4 of arguably my favorite Van Halen songs of all time. There's only 9 songs. One of them is an instrumental. But I mean, I will say this is my favorite Van Halen album because it's so top heavy with my favorite Van Halen songs of all time. And I'm throwing Hear About It Later in there too. I love Sinner's Swing and Dirty Movies as awesome, unusual deep cuts. The rest of the stuff, Push Comes to Shove, is okay. And then what we just talked about, those 2 synth things, kind of weird. And let me preface my comments here before all the Kiss tards lose their mind. It kind of reminds me of what Kiss did with Destroyer, meaning it was their 4th album. It was kind of unusual and unexpected when listeners heard it, but it's Destroyer is top heavy with, Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, God of Thunder, Beth. And then it's got some unusual weird shit. It's got Great Expectations and, Sweet Pain is a kind of a deep cut and stuff. I'm not saying that they're the same kind of album because I know Destroyer is regarded as like legendary and arguably a lot of people think it's the greatest Kiss album. But for me, Fair Warning there's a lot of nostalgia tied to this album. But it really checks off all the boxes. It has Unchained. It has So This Is Love. It has something like Dirty Movies and Mean Street. I think it's classic. I think it's legendary. And I kind of always hold it close to me because nobody really talks about Fair Warning. So that's it for me.
Sonny.
We talked about it a little bit before. This is the timing where, Eddie's not super happy. He wants to play more synth. He's thinking about leaving the band. Depending on if you believe Gene, he's thinking about joining Kiss. He wants to get his own studio, doesn't want to be at anybody's beck and call. Him and Templeton are not agreeing on anything. David and Eddie, the cracks are starting to show, right? They just kind of see it. And I think personally, this is not written anywhere, but I think Roth is starting to see like Priest coming out and Scorpions there and Maiden there going, well, I don't have to just be with Eddie. There's other guitar players out there that are starting to do what Eddie's doing. And maybe he's thinking, maybe I go do my own thing and I have better control and don't got to do it with Eddie. I'm a Van Hagar guy to begin with. Overall, this album's good to me, but it's not great. It wouldn't make my top 5 Van Halen albums. Oof. And Tommy compared it to Destroyer. And I agree. It's got a Detroit Rock City, Unchained. Besides that, yeah, it's just like Destroyer. Overrated. Meh. It's not their best album. By the time they get to 1984, it's their Love Gun. Oh, yeah, I agree with that too. Right? The first Kiss album, VH1 Classics. Yeah, I agree with that. There's a lot of similarities to the way this thing went. I never go to this album, ever. I have Unchained on other things I can go to. The song I probably missed out on is probably Sinner Swing. I don't listen to that much. Push Comes to Shove makes some of my playlists, but Sinner Swing I hadn't heard in a while, so I was like, it's okay. But I would never go to this album. It's okay. It's not great.
Okay.
For me, I didn't really remember it. I had the album for years. It falls in the line of it's good. I like it. It's really top heavy. And both of you are fucking nuts to shit on Destroyer. But that's okay.
No. We're not shitting on Destroyer.
Uh-huh.
We're not shitting on Destroyer.
All right. regardless, let's get to the tracks. All right, Sonny, lead us off.
Number 9 by Miracle Mile, Sunday Afternoon in the Park.
Yeah, me too.
Make it a trifecta.
My number 8 is I Had One Foot Out the Door, On to My Way to the Park is my number 8.
Me too.
Make that 3.
Yep.
All right, now here's where we will have some changes because my number 7 compares to If You Want to Die, If You Want to Die, If You Want to Die. I don't want to, baby, I don't want to. Hear about it later.
Ooh, yikes. Number 7 for me, Push Comes to Shove.
I'm with Tom. Push Comes to Shove.
All right, number 6 for me, although I do partake in some dirty movies.
Number 6 for me, Sinner's Swing.
Dude, what the fuck? Sinner Swing.
Oh, my God.
All right, number 5 for me is Mean Street.
Oh. Number 5 for me, Dirty Movies.
Number 5 for me is Where Me and Tom Part. So I have Mean Street.
Ooh. Okay.
Number 4 for me, So This Is Love?
Oh.
Number 4 for me, Hear About It Later.
4 for me is Dirty Movies.
Number 3 for me is Sinner Swing.
Number 3 for me, Mean Streets or Mean Street.
3, Hear About It Later.
Number 2 for me is When Push Comes to Shove. It's not, there's no when.
God, number 2.
Number 2, baby.
This would normally be the automatic number 1, but it's not going to make it this time because of something else. But number 2 for me is Unchained.
I'm telling you, right to this point, I don't know where I'm going. I like the David Lee Roth One Break coming up. They don't have that part, and So This Is Love, so it's like coin toss. I'll take So This Is Love as 2.
Okay.
And my number 1 is Unchained.
Yep. And my number 1 is So This Is Love.
Unchained for me.
Okay.
By a whisker.
Yeah.
All right. So our top 4 are identified. Our 4th is I Don't Want to Hear About It Later.
Okay.
Our number 3 is Mean Street. Number 2 is So This Is Love. And number 1 is Unchained. And Unchained will win that by a landslide.
Oh, I agree. That won't even be close.
Nobody, they don't know the other ones.
That won't even be close. Yep.
All right. Here comes the fun part. Let's do album covers. Tom, want to lead us off? No. Sorry. Sonny, want to lead us off?
All right, so my top 5 right now, 5 is Moving Pictures, 4 is The Monk Burning on Rage Against the Machine, 3 is Come and Get It, 2 is Slide It In, and 1 is Peace of Mind. I actually, I think the painting thing's an interesting idea. I had never looked at the pictures as much as I've looked at them the last probably couple of weeks, and I think it was a good idea. So I'm going to put them behind the robot tiger and in front of the bullet going through the apple at number 11, fair warning.
Wow. Okay. So my top 5 covers right now are 5 Moving Pictures, Rage Against the Machine, Blizzard of Oz, Purple Rain, Master O Puppets. Yeah, this cover's definitely unique. It's there's a lot going on as we talked. I don't know how much I like it per se. But I am going to bump out Rocks was at 16 from last month. That's where I'm going to put this. So I'm going to put Fair Warning at 16, right in between 10 and Rocks.
All right. For me, my number 5 is Slide It In, 4, Peace of Mind, 3, Appetite, 2, Blizzard, 1, Hotel California. I am going to put this at number 19, under Moving Pictures, above Hail to the King.
All right.
Let's go to actual albums.
Oh, boy.
All right, so my top 5 right now are Appetite for Destruction, 4 is Slide It In, 3 Hailstorm, 2 Purple Rain, 1 Black Tiger. It's DLR Van Halen. It wouldn't make my top 5. Right now I have it below Hail to the King and above Blizzard of Oz at number 28. Yes, it is below Heat, Bullet Boys, and Tesla. And if there was no Van Halen, would those 3 exist? No, but if there's no pizza, there'd be no shit either. So whatever.
I'm surprised. That's actually high for you. I thought it was going to be lower because I know how much you don't like DLR Van Halen.
I don't think DLR is at fault for this album. I didn't have really any problems with anything DLR was doing on the album.
It's just
don't
some of
the vibe of the album.
Yeah, I totally get it. That's why it kind of flies under the radar. All right, my top 5 albums right now are Rage Against the Machine, Shout at the Devil, Purple Rain, Moving Pictures, and at number 1 is Master O Puppets again. We're not ringing the bell this episode. I can promise you that. However, we are going to get a new top 5.
Ooh.
Because Fair Warning is bumping out Rage Against the Machine, and it will be at number 5 for me. It'll be right below Shout at the Devil and right above Rage Against the Machine.
Wow.
Yep.
My number 5 is Pyromania, 4 Blizzard, 3 Hotel California, 2 Automatic for the People, 1 Purple. At the top 5 for each of us, the only one that is on 2 people or more is Purple Rain, is number 2 for Sonny and 3 for Tom. Everything else is different.
Yep.
Yeah. So, where am I putting this? I am going to put Fair Warning. This is fucked up because I'm like, I'm going to put this at number 26, above Don't Say No. And beneath Detonator.
Oh my God. What's the matter with the two of you?
I like more songs on Detonator. That's just, it is so top heavy.
It is.
And I like the other song. The last 2 songs, like even I know Sunday Afternoon in the Park is useless.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's just noise. It's not like, fucking turn this off. This song is terrible. And same thing with 1 Foot Out the Door. It's not bad. It's just, I don't like it. Nothing doesn't drive me. And the other songs are pretty good, but it's just top heavy. And I really like more songs on the albums above it. That's the only difference. So
I got you.
All right. Now we do this. Sonny, Tom's favorite part here. What makes you rock hard?
All right, so I'm going to go with a movie from 2009. It's basically a B movie. We would have, it would have went straight to VHS back in the day. Comedy. It's called The Goods. Live Hard, Sell Hard. Have you ever seen this? Probably not.
That's the full title of the movie?
Yeah, The Goods. Live Hard, Sell Hard.
Okay.
So the movie stars Jeremy Piven,
Nice.
Ving Rhames, James Brolin, Katherine Hahn, Ed Helms. The movie flopped at the box office. The plot is there's a family car dealership that's failing, and the owner hires like this mercenary. His name is Don Reddy, who's played by Piven. Don brings in this team, does some stuff on July 4th weekend, saves the day, falls in love with the process. One of those fun movies, especially if you're a Jeremy Piven fan, and I am. So I've seen pretty much everything he's been in, and the character absolutely fits Jeremy 100% because, he's kind of rambunctious, arrogant. The guy's name is Don Reddy. I mean, come on. If you ever saw that old movie Used Cars, It has that type of vibe a little bit, but a little more modern, obviously, because this movie is 28 years after Used Car. But it's a B movie. It's out there on, I think I saw it on Showtime probably. It's called The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard from 2009. If you're a Piven fan, go check this out.
Cool. Okay. Nice. So for me, it's that season in the holidays. By the time this drops, Christmas will have passed, but it's still the season. There's a movie that came out last year. I watched it then and I've watched it again. And second viewing, I love it even more. It's a movie called Violent Night. Now it's like a Christmas, like action thriller with a little bit of horror elements. It stars David Harbour. If you know him from, Stranger Things and whatnot, he plays a Santa Claus, and he ends up taking it. It's funny. It's almost like Die Hard, because he plays Santa who goes to the house to, do his Santa Claus gift giving thing. But the house that he arrives at, he discovers that it's a wealthy family and that they've been taken hostage in their house by these mercenaries. So, of course, Santa comes to save the day. Now, I know the description of it. It sounds goofy, but the movie is fun as shit. David Harbour is amazing. Again, it's like an action thriller. There's a little bit of gore, a little bit of like kind of horror violence to it, but it's supremely entertaining. It's tons of fun. David Harbour carries this film. I highly recommend it if you're into that. Brace yourself, because it does have some kind of nasty gore parts, but it doesn't override it. It's not a slasher. It's not a horror movie, but it is a ton of fun. It came out last year. It's called Violent Night. Highly recommend it. Lots of fun.
All right. So mine, the previous month, I had done a documentary, JFK One Day in America. So I got on the JFK fucking, rabbit hole. And I've always loved JFK assassination, JFK stuff. When JFK, the movie came out, I remember being a kid watching that nonstop and got infatuated with the conspiracy stuff. So there is a new podcast out. It's done by Rob Reiner and Soledad O'Brien. I've never been addicted to anything like waiting for an episode to drop. It comes out on Wednesdays. Every episode, I'm like, what the fuck? And get more mad because I know a lot of the players and a lot of stuff, but stuff is constantly breaking about the JFK assassination throughout the years. More and more shit comes out all the time. And they break this thing down and make it so fucking fascinating. It's like iHeart True Crime series and stuff. And they just, I'm addicted to it. And and I don't know if it's the best thing or the worst thing about it. So is Heavy Mayo. So he likes to DM me about things and he gets all passionate as soon as the episode drops.
So what's the name of the podcast?
What's it called? Who Killed JFK?
Gotcha. Okay.
Unbelievable. So they're only on episode 8 so far. It's about a half an hour, 40 minutes. If you listen to this and go through it, you get more and more upset and more like, how can somebody realistically tell you that this is what happened? Fascinating shit. I love it. It's done professional and it's perfect listening for your commute. Perfect.
Rob Reiner. They let him out of the insane asylum to record a podcast.
Who, Meathead?
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking done. Yeah. So as much as, I know he's very political and left wing shit, but as much as he is, he's still done some incredible fucking storytelling movies.
Oh no, I agree.
Spinal Tap. Princess Bride. Yeah. So he can tell a story. And the other chick is, whatever. She does other podcasts too. So he brought her on just because she can story tell with him. And they have first, sources, people still alive telling their parts. It's just amazing. A lot of
nice.
Fun.
That's cool.
All right. So what we do next is we listen to Sonny tell us where we can find him.
Easiest way is grownuprock.com or just hit me on Twitter, on Facebook. I'm at places. I'm okay at social media. I'm hit and miss. It depends on, one is time. I think the second thing is just want to.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny, Sonny. We missed you at the Kiss Week in New York, so I didn't get your take. I'm curious to hear it. Were you sad, happy, glad that you weren't there?
I watched the pay preview. I watched it with Nicole. We went through the whole thing. I didn't miss the concert at all. My thing is missing the hang and missing the friendships.
Yeah.
Right?
Which was better than the concert.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't get to see you guys that often, so missing out on that was way worse than anything. Because even when the pay preview got done, Nicole's like, "That's it." Didn't we see that in 2009 when Buck Cherry opened? I'm like, "Yeah,
Yes, you did. Yep.
Yeah, but you would have been more angry if you paid for all that shit and were there. And you're like,
that's right.
That's it. Yeah, but the friendships and all the other stuff was so much more. But you know what? You got to kind of see what we saw. The same fucking thing. It's the same show. Did you see them last time they were in your town? You saw this.
You saw the show.
Yeah.
And I can be a Kiss homer at times, but I wouldn't have went and chased down a pizza box.
No, God, I know.
Went to the pop-up
If it was
shop.
near us, we did. Like
Maybe.
the pop-up shop, Tom and I, like, what else we can do? We have this day planned. Let's go to the pop-up shop. Let's go to the physical. Like, you kind of plan your day. And we got there decent enough time that we weren't like, I'm not fucking waiting 3 hours in a fucking line.
There's no way I'm
No.
not doing that.
No.
We waited about good 40 minutes, 35, 40
Yeah, I
minutes.
mean,
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, so
But I went to I would have went to the parties, D'Angelo's thing and all that stuff. Like I would have went to all that stuff.
oh, we're not that social, Sonny. You're more social
Yeah,
than
I
us. Then. Like, we wouldn't have done that. We were like, this is where we are. If anybody wants to hang with us, they can come. And that was good enough.
If not, beat it.
Yeah. Anyway. Tom, what about us? Are we around somewhere?
Yep. So shout it out Loudcast. If this is your first time hearing us, we are a all Kiss podcast. We drop Kiss related episodes every Saturday. We do album review crew with Sonny once a month where we each review a non-Kiss album. And you can find us on our website at shoutitoutloudcast.com for all that information and much more. And you can send us an email, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com, or you can follow us on all the social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yeah. And don't forget to follow us next month when we pick a Sonny pick. It was nice. We made it this long. It was great. We'll see what happens with this one coming up anyway. What we do next is we end on famous last words. Sonny, why don't you lead us off?
I need to know. Tell me, baby girl, because I need to know. You guys know what that is? You guys don't know what that is?
Is that a Van Halen song?
No, it's Mark Anthony.
I was just going to say,
know.
I knew you were going to
I
do
need
something
to know.
stupid.
All right. I'll get to the real stuff. I know I don't ask for permission. This is my chance to fly. Maybe enough ain't enough for you, but it's my turn at a try.
Nice. Well, my baby's on the corner and she's looking so fine. Put one and one together and it blows my mind. A man needs love to live. I'm the living proof. Catch that smile and I hit the roof.
All right. Pictures on the silver screen. Greatest thing you've ever seen. Now her name is up in lights. Everything turns out all right. That's the theme song to Lisa Sparks.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know if she was ever prom queen though.
Oh, Tiffany Minks.
Ooh, there's a good one for you.
Yeah, she was a good 90s fucking.
Oh yeah.
She was vicious.
That'll be an episode soon.
Tiffany Minks' greatest hits.
No. 90s porn stars.
Oh, okay.
The era of big giant fake tits. The 80s was the era of big giant bush.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bush.
Break out the weed whackers.
All right. Well, Tom, Sonny, Loudcasters, thank you.
Always a good time. Get ready for my pick.
Oh, guys, always a blast. Love doing these. Everybody, thank you. All you sinners, Swing, Sonny, Zeus, thank you. Good times always.
Peace out, Girl Scout.